Hi, welcome to Living Plant Based with Gareth and Jeanne across the pond. And let me introduce you to my partner in crime, Gareth Davies. Gareth R. Davies, see, I remembered. Gareth helps people to reduce or eliminate their high blood pressure through his no meds method. And you can find more at his Facebook page, Gareth R. Davies. And you can schedule a time with him on the calendar up at the top on the link on his page.
And Jeanne, you're the founder of the Weight Loss Advantage, a program to help people lose weight. This is the key part, without dieting, and they can change their health destiny. You've also just launched the Pregnancy Advantage for women to get their bodies pregnant ready. So check out the website, simplyplantbased.net. Lots of resources on there, recipes and other programs. Check it out.
All right. So Gareth, let's start with some tips to share. What do you got?
Okay, well, my tip this week, I have a couple of props here as well, which is the first one is this.
Okay, looks like
Hopefully
a jar.
You can see that it's an empty jar actually, but when I take it to work tomorrow, I will not be taking that empty jar. I'll be taking this full jar. I just pulled this out of the fridge, and in here is my porridge, or oats, as you say across the pond.
I know. So, when you say porridge, Goldilocks, Three Bears. I mean,
Yeah, well, I'll have in there is oats, is frozen raspberries, banana, raisins, and a little bit of water and a little bit of almond milk, actually. So I'm after saying that, I might start it tonight. Now you've made me look at that again. But I've also put some cannel in there. Cannel?
Cinnamon?
Cinnamon, yeah. Cannel in Norwegian, of course. So a bit of cinnamon as well. So really tasty, really looking forward, makes a great breakfast. So if you've got a jam jar, I don't buy jam these days for obvious reasons, but we had a couple of them. I swilled them out, kept them, and they're fantastic for making up a breakfast in the morning.
Now, do you heat those up in the morning?
Oh no, not that. Not when I'm out. I'm taking it out to work. If I was making it for home, I just make it in a saucepan. I don't put it in a jar. But no, I love it cold. I found that leave it in the fridge overnight with the milk or the water, just really cooks it. Fine anyway. Yeah.
Nice.
How about you, Jeanne? You got
jam jars? I mean, I'm just going to tag on to your jam jars because instead of using, I buy applesauce. And this is my applesauce. This is, obviously the empty jar. But the applesauce jar, this is unsweetened applesauce. It works perfectly in my Instant Pot because, this is like a mason jar and this is like a quart here in the United States. I don't know what that is over there.
No, I don't either.
But anyway, but this jar is just a little bit bigger than this one. And this fits perfectly in the Instant Pot to make yogurt. So I have 4 of these that I have saved along the way, and they fit perfectly inside there. And then I'll make my own yogurt. I make it out of soy milk, and I just add the probiotic and acidophilus, and it's awesome. So I put it in at night in the Instant Pot just before I go to bed, and in the morning I have yogurt. So I make 4 of these jars.
That sounded like Greek yogurt then. You said you added something?
Well, no. The probiotic is how you make yogurt. So you take soy milk, and then you add the probiotic to the soy milk, and then
what did you call it? You called it something.
Acidophilus.
Acidophilus. That's what I thought. It must be Greek yogurt. A name like that.
I can't stand you. Anyway, so all right. Anyway. So I make the yogurt and put it in here. And actually, you can make it. I'm going to jump on what you just said about Greek yogurt, because Greek yogurt is a little bit thicker. And so what I do is I use like a coffee filter, the old-fashioned coffee filters, and just put that like in a funnel. And you put some of the yogurt into that, and you let it sit in the refrigerator for overnight. And all the excess liquid will drop out. And then you've got a much thicker, almost like a sour cream. And then you can add some onion powder, garlic powder, just to make it almost like a sour cream kind of thing. So good. And you can just add like seasonings, like they have those flavor packets. Like here on this side of the pond, it's called Simply Organic, and they're packets, flavor packets. And one is a dill dip, another one's French onion, and you just add that to the soy yogurt. Oh my God. And just bake some tortilla chips. Oh, wow. Wow. That just, because tortilla, and we talked about this, and I think in the last couple of shows about the corn tortillas,
Yeah.
Just raw or crude as they come out of the package, cardboard tastes better, I think. But something magical happens in the toaster oven, and you get these amazing chips. And to put in a dip like that with the sour cream,
yes,
wow. But the applesauce jars work amazing. So that's my tip of the day. Well, actually, I had a tip. One is, usually when I go to the grocery store, I'll buy a bunch of garlic, just the heads of the garlic. And what I'll do is I'll take my tray, and I'll take it and put silicone mat on it. And I'll peel off a lot of the paper of the garlic, not all of it. I don't go crazy. And then you put them on the tray, and you put them in the oven, at a medium oven. I don't know what that is across the pond, but here in the United States, it's 350 degrees. I don't know what that is. A medium oven, whatever you consider medium oven, for half an hour. And oh my gosh, the house is perfumed with garlic smell, number one. It just smells so good. And number two, you take that and instead of in a recipe that calls for raw garlic, you can put a whole head, let's say it calls for 3 or 4 cloves of garlic. You can put the whole head in, because when you roast it, it dials down the strength of the yogurt, or the garlic. So.
Well, Jeanne, you told me that a couple of weeks ago, and today,
no way.
I used 3 or 4 of them that I made 2 weeks ago. They've been in the fridge for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I used them today in some hummus I made.
Isn't it delicious?
Fine, lovely, yeah, absolutely. A bit
It's
sticky.
Softer.
They've been in there for a long time.
Yeah.
2 weeks, but a bit sticky to peel away but absolutely fine, lovely.
Well, and because garlic is so amazing in terms of antifungal, antimicrobial, it'll last in the fridge. I mean, I've had them go for 3 or 4 weeks easily, and still take them out, and they're still just as good. So,
well, you mentioning garlic, I have to tell you this as well. I completely forgotten about. But my wife, bear in mind, I'm in above the Arctic Circle here in Tromsø, up in Norway, and she started a garden on our balcony, and she's been away for a while, so it's been my responsibility to water the tomato plants, to water the garlic and the spinach, and it's in a container, the spinach and the garlic, but it's growing. Potatoes are growing out the front. So I'll take a couple of photos and show you those. It's amazing, actually.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm waiting till I get up to the Cape. So hopefully next spring we'll be up on Cape Cod permanently. So I'm hoping that. And then we're going to open up an Airbnb. So kind of like you have an Airbnb. Well, not right now because of the lockdown, but we're going to be opening an Airbnb on Cape Cod like you'll have in Norway. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to just, first of all, being on Cape Cod. It's my happy place. It's such a beautiful place. I mean, just absolutely spectacularly, breathtakingly beautiful. So, and it's right by the ocean, and there's so many environments. Anyway,
what I really love about that, although it's off at the moment, as you can imagine, with the traveling, is that I've become a super host, because when you do you hit certain levels, they call you super host, and I mean you can have your own made up link. So mine is vegan Tromsø, I think, something like that. I'll let you have it sometime. But I market our stay here as staying at a vegan household, and that niche is really appreciated, even up here in Tromsø. So I'm sure it will be in Cape Cod.
Oh yes, absolutely. And I'm already connecting. I'm getting ready to go up soon, but I'm already connecting with local restaurants to offer plant-based options. And so I'm excited.
Fantastic.
I'm excited.
Good stuff.
All right. A story to share. Okay. I'd met this gentleman. His name's Marc, and we met at the gym when we could still go to the gym. This is a while back. And I started playing racquetball. I love racquetball. I adore racquetball. And I like it because you don't have to chase after the ball. I mean, you just stand still and the ball will just eventually get back to you at some point, right? So I just was playing racquetball, and I was looking for someone to play with, and he had just started getting back into playing. And he was sitting there on the bench, mopping his brow, and he's like, oh, I don't know. So I talked him into playing for, 20 minutes or so. And, after we got done, we started talking. And of course, immediately I started talking about whole food plant-based. And so I started helping him, and he went plant-based, like literally overnight. And his cholesterol was at 279 when we started, because he had blood work done like maybe 3 weeks before. Yeah. And he was type 2 diabetic.
Okay.
And he had blood work coming up in 3 weeks. And in 3 weeks, he jumped in 100%, like literally overnight. And in 3 weeks, his cholesterol went from 279 to 99.
Well, when people jump in and they take it as read, and they got a reason to jump in. Usually they need one, usually they need to jump in because they have a strong reason. And 279 cholesterol, that's a pretty strong reason, because that's an accident waiting to happen.
Right.
That's fantastic. And yes, it is brilliant. Yeah. But actually for us, it's not surprising, is it? It's just normal. It's just normal. It's great.
It is. But he also then went on to reverse his diabetes, and you just can't say enough. I mean, he looks amazing. He does. And he's reversed a lot of his health issues and a lot of the problems that he's having. So I'm just so excited for him and his journey. So he looks fabulous. He looks in such good shape now. And I cannot play him in racquetball because he is killer. I just can't play. I can't keep up with him. He's just so strong. And so, not that I'm not, but wow. I mean, I think I'm more agile than he is, but his power shots are, there's nothing I can do. I mean, I just look at him and go, yeah, no. So,
that's great.
Anyway.
Well, I wanted to mention how the amazing, a reminder that the internet is so amazing. Because when we put this stuff out there and we really want to help people, both of us, you just never know who's listening. Right. And I had a lady who also did a similar thing as, what was the name of the guy you said then? Marc.
His name's Marc.
Yeah. Same as Marc, who she just believed and started making changes from day one. Her name's Patience. And she actually lives in Cameroon. Now I had to look it up and see where Cameroon was I knew it was in Africa, but to see where it was in Africa. And, she's in the center of that country. It's just so removed from the type of lifestyle that I'm living here. And yet we were able to make some changes with her diet and exercise. And she's, again, lost weight, got rid of her blood pressure medication within 3 weeks, and probably could have done it within a week, And I checked in with her today to see how she's doing. This is a couple of months later. Absolutely fine, still going great. Actually encouraging other members of her family to do the same thing in the middle of Africa, middle of Cameroon. So fantastic.
You're right. With the internet, we never know who is listening and who we might affect. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why you and I do this is, I mean, first of all, I love connecting with you because it's, I always learn something from you, and, it's just fun connecting because like you're across the pond, and even though you're way up, like in like northern frigid temperatures, like I can't even perceive like the climate up there. I just can't. But we still are doing the same things,
Well, let me just tell you, on the balcony yesterday, it was probably 26 degrees. On the balcony today, it was wet and cold. So I think summer was yesterday. That day I was telling you about? It might have been yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, you have 2 days for summer in Norway. That's it. So, no, it's nice and warm here, and I'm looking forward to some beach time and heading that way. Yeah, no. You and your snow, you can stay up there.
So you've been busy as well, interviewing other people, of course. And one of the people you've interviewed recently is Dr. Michael Klapper.
I know.
Tell us about that.
Well, I got to interview him with Dr. Deborah Shapiro because we've started doing, from the Pregnancy Advantage, we started doing once a week, Thursdays usually at noon. And we do it Facebook Live, so we take your questions live, and we got to interview Dr. Klapper. And actually, he already had patients that when he actually was delivering babies, he was at a part of his career, he actually delivered babies. And he had about a dozen or so of women who are vegan. And he's like, they had the best, he said they had absolutely no issues carrying their children. And this was back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, somewhere in there. So he said they actually had no health issues. The babies were born absolutely 100% like healthy. But in the conversation, one of the questions that came out was that if you eat meat, that you're this, meat eater, you're eating the SAD diet, and you go plant-based, then as you start to transition, you start to not feel good. There's this intermediate piece, partly because you're releasing toxins, you're burning fat, you're releasing these toxins that have been stored inside your body, and it's going to make you not feel good. But the other piece, and people have said to him, that I ate some meat when I felt like this, and I felt so much better, and I just know that I'm a meat eater, and I just don't belong eating this vegan crap. I just, I tried it for 2 weeks, and I just felt awful. Mm-hmm. And we started diving into this, and I thought his explanation was absolutely amazing, because basically he came up with that for most of your life that you are consuming this meat 3 times a day, or animal products like 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for the most part. And your body had to adapt to this, because we're not designed to eat animal products. We're not. Our body is not. So some of the amino acids that you're getting from these animal products, you didn't need to build yourself in your body. So once you stop animal products, it's almost like your body has to relearn how to make and create and put together these amino acids to build like proteins and things like that. Mm-hmm. So he says, if you're feeling that way, that you're craving this meat, have a little piece of it, almost like a medicinal, serving of it, and then move on. And then, it's almost like your body's going into withdrawal from this stuff, and your body's having to go through this readaptation of you're rebuilding your gut biome, basically.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a fabulous conversation with Dr. Klapper. I mean, first of all, he's just a fount of knowledge. I mean, he's just so amazing. I mean,
he's an amazing guy. Yeah.
Oh gosh. And humble, and just, he wants to help. And he's going around, he's got a new program helping people to learn about this plant-based lifestyle, especially for medical doctors. He's been going around the country lecturing to, medical students. So,
do you know, one of the very first video of VHS that I saw on plant-based lifestyle was a lecture given by Dr. Klapper when he had the serum drawn from someone's blood, and it was so thick on top after they'd been given a McDonald's milkshake and a burger, that he actually turned it upside down after a while, and the fat on the top, it just settled and the blood didn't fall out. It was incredible. So that stuck in my mind from many, many years ago. Yeah.
Well, okay. 1 second. So this was from Dr. Stefan Esser at Esser Health. And so what he did is he pulled the blood from 2 patients. These are 2 separate people. And the person on the left, so right here, this tube right here, this is from somebody who had a ham and cheese sandwich about an hour before they had their blood drawn. Okay. Yep. So what they do is they take the blood and then they spin it down so you can see some of the red blood cells, down here. But this is plasma up on top. Yep. You can't see through to the other side. Please note this. You cannot see through to the other side. And you can see right through the plasma. It's clear. You're not seeing the fat particles. The cloudiness and everything else that you're seeing is the fat particles.
Well, I believe that it's not just from someone who's vegan, but it's from someone who's following a whole food diet.
Right.
Not just a vegan diet, because obviously there's...
Yes, I should clarify that. Whole food, plant-based. Because you could be vegan and, like we've said, Coca-Cola, potato chips, and Oreos are vegan, but I think
Then
we
you
can
have a
all
vegan
agree.
heart attack then, yes.
Yes, right, right. But I thought that was really interesting. And, thank you, Dr. Esser, for that, because that is such a, when you see that, it's like,
Like I said, sticks in my mind from, gosh, it must be 20 years ago I saw
yeah,
that from Dr. Klapper. Yeah.
yeah,
What have I been doing lately? I actually realized that I needed to stretch more. I was a footballer years ago and abused my body.
wait. I got to clarify. That means soccer player on your
That's
side of the pond.
soccer. Yeah. Yeah, not that American football stuff. That's way too hard for a person as soft as me. But yeah, I was a footballer. I got injured, but I continued to play on an injury. I did a lot of strength work, a lot of speed work, but almost zero stretching in those days.
Right.
And I'm paying for it now. So I decided to do something about it because my hips and my shoulders, particularly my back, is not hurting me. It's just stiff. So if I don't do something about it, I know it's going to get a lot worse as I get older, as I get past 100.
Exactly.
So yeah. So I looked up online. I looked at a couple of different things, and I found this guy called Lucas Rockwood, who has a business called Yoga Body, actually. But there's a course there which I started using called Gravity Yoga. And just in 10 days, it's made a significant difference to me. And I'm noticing the difference in when I'm cycling every day, that I've got a little bit more flexion in my hips and also my knees. So I'll keep you informed of how that's going. But I want to put that out there, and I'm going to talk about this a little later, hopefully, is that we really got to look after our bodies, and good health, as we say, is worth working for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I have a favorite website called doyogawithme.com.
Mm-hmm.
And that has, most of it's free. I like free. Most of it is, you can narrow it down and focus the different types, because there's all different types of yoga that's represented. Then you can sort it by length of time. Let's say you only have 20 minutes or you have an hour, whatever. You can sort it by time length of the program. You can sort it by instructor, and you can also sort it by level. So beginner, intermediate, advanced. So, and one of my favorites is, her name is Fiji McAlpine. And I just love how she explains yoga and gives you time to get into the positions, and she walks you through it. And she's very, very good at that. So I just like her a lot.
Yeah.
So
well, one of the things I like about Lucas is that he's got a very wide knowledge base. So he's almost, I would say, as clean plant-based as us. Not quite, but nearly there. Recognizes that how important that is on the body, the diet. But one of the things which is so key on getting more flexible when you've allowed yourself to get stiff like I have, is during stretching, is switching off the sympathetic nervous system. And when I learned this, I thought, wow. And then I put it to practice. I'm sure that's why it's making such a big difference with me quickly. And the sympathetic nervous system is where automatically our body kicks in when there's fight or flight. So when you're stretching, you're normally in some sort of discomfort or pain. And it's no different here, but you can switch it off from controlling your breathing and focusing on your breathing. And there's quite a big emphasis on that. And when you breathe out, it's amazing how you're able to stretch further. So I encourage people to, if they're interested, to go and check his site out, Yoga Body.
I will have to learn it. I will have to check that out. Yeah. All right. Well, what about your favorite snack? What do you got?
I guess so many. But when I was preparing for this today, then I was in the middle of making a snack, and I thought, do you know what? This is as good as anything I like. And it was avocado and red pepper hummus on whole wheat toast. So I make a bunch of hummus up with a couple of peppers in, and just a couple of slices of avocado on top, toast a bit of wholemeal bread, and away to go. Bit of pepper on top.
What's not to love? I mean, bread and avocado, please. What's not to love? Well, I can't have that, because first of all, if I have bread in the house, I will eat that loaf. So I can't have that. That's a trigger food for me. But it's also very high caloric density, as is the avocado. And my husband doesn't like avocado, so I will end up eating the whole avocado. So that doesn't come into my house. But you are an exercise fiend, and you don't have to worry about losing weight.
I got to worry about it the other way, actually, because I've been losing a couple of pounds in the last couple of weeks.
I can't stand you.
Yeah, need to make sure I'm eating enough.
Oh, shut up. God. Men, honestly, that just happens. Anyway, so for me, summer. Oh my God. Is there nothing more exquisite than a ripe nectarine or a pear? Oh my gosh. I mean, I can just feel my salivary glands just, like oozing up and just, as I'm talking about it, because the flavor of some sun ripened nectarine, and wow. Did nectarines always taste this good? I mean, just I guess as our taste buds, neuro adapt to actually eating whole foods, the foods just taste so much better and amazing. But honestly, a nectarine and a pear that's perfectly ripe, oh my gosh. And it's drooling. You have to eat it like over the sink, because there's so much juice coming out of it. It's too much for your mouth to absorb. Yep. So you're just like drooling it all over the place, either over the sink or over a plate or something, because you're going to make a mess. But, oh my God, summer ripeness of fruit. Wow. Anyway, okay. Favorite recipe. What's your favorite recipe?
My favorite recipe is something that I've got like a very limited foods that I make, unless it's a special occasion like those cakes we talked about a while ago. But my favorite recipe is one that my wife really loves. So probably once a week, once every 2 weeks, I make this, and it's wholemeal rice. Easy to boil up. Sometimes I'll throw a couple of cloves of garlic in with the rice to give it that garlic taste, and then in a pan, I fry just with a little bit of water, a tiny bit of water, because I've got some very special pans. Then I use a leek and some onions and some dried tomatoes and some raisins that have been soaked in water for at least a couple of hours. And then I will put in a bunch of mushrooms and some spices, some real hot Turkish spice. Well, really whatever's there. But the gurkemeya, what is that in?
Gesundheit.
No, it's gurkemeya. It's like a greeny. It goes a greeny color. It's a Thai dish. What I'm talking about, and it's like a Thai curry that it comes out like. A little bit of curry powder and some cream, some coconut cream. Again, I don't have to worry about it. My wife doesn't really have to worry about it once every week or two. Right. And that is on this rice, absolutely gorgeous.
I know, but I do want to point out, coconut milk is high in saturated fat, and that's what.
Oh yeah, it's not. It's forget what we have there. We don't. I'll do that for the next session. I'll actually take a photo of it and do the food item. And I'll check it out. It'll be good for me to do that, to know exactly what's in there.
Well, and the other thing is, instead of using coconut milk, what I do is I use almond milk, and I'll add a little bit of coconut extract to get that coconut flavor. So you're still getting
before. I need to know that. Yeah, good idea. Yeah.
So you can get rid of that saturated fat, and at least the almond milk is going to have some fat in it, but it's not going to be the saturated fat. So
but that's a really beautiful tasting dish. So I'm very happy to. If I can cut out the little bit of fat that's in there by using something else, that's great.
Yeah. Well, my favorite, and this is one of my new recipes that I created for my program. I'm constantly, especially because we've been in lockdown, I've been a lot more creative in the kitchen, and I call this Simply Chickpea Delight. And oh my God, this is one of my top, I think, out of all of my recipes, this is when they made the top 10 of my all-time favorite recipes. So I started with a yellow onion and a red onion, and then I dry sauteed the onions together. Then I cut up 2 zucchinis, and this is great for when you have a lot of zucchini in the garden. So I cut it up into small pieces and then put it into the pan with the onions after I dry sauteed the onions. And you just let that cook down because it takes a little bit. The zucchinis are going to release a lot of water.
Yeah.
So then I added a can of, it's called Muir Glen. These are fire roasted tomatoes with no salt added. So for me, I can't have salt at all. And these fire roasted tomatoes are just exquisite in their flavor. And this is hard to find without the salt. So when I do find it, I will wipe the shelf out. Whatever store I'm in, I'll buy the whole shelf and just, keep it down in my basement. I have a whole storage locker of food in the basement. So I'll add 1 can of that. And if you just, whatever you have, like roasted tomatoes, you can just use that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll add 1 can of chickpeas with the liquid in there. And then some Italian seasonings, then some garlic powder, or granules. I'll add that to it. And then here's the secret ingredient. This is from Whole Foods. It's called Bear. And you can create this, Bear is a Mediterranean spice. And this one comes from Whole Foods, and they've already got it's blended, but I'll put the recipe below. So it is a Mediterranean spice, so you can make it up ahead of time and just have it, in a jar for yourself. But this is the magic ingredient, and oh my gosh, and it gives a kick. Oh yeah, there's a kick to this. But the flavor is exquisite along with the Italian seasoning. Oh my gosh. And this makes up a huge batch of this. I mean, it's so calorically low dense. I mean, this is like nothing in terms of calories. I mean, you can eat a whole big bowl of this stuff and maybe, if you're lucky, maybe 100 calories, 200 calories, something like that. It's like so low in calories, but so delicious. I mean, really, really good. And so I've been making this like almost every week. So this has been my new personal favorite of foods.
I'm afraid that wouldn't be for me at the moment, Jeanne, because I'd have to eat so much of it,
Shut up. You just got to keep getting that.
No, I don't mean it like that. I got to take this off because I'm a little warm here. But my wife has even been complaining that, she can feel the bones in the top of my shoulders here. So I need to get out and keep strong,
Stop it. Just stop it. Anyway, what are you reading? What are you up to?
This. I'm reading Jayney Goddard's book, Rewind Your Body Clock.
Isn't that amazing?
It's an incredible thing, incredible book. And just when one of the things which I've been doing, but not as much. And of course, when you read a book, you get an idea and it helps you to do it more. Is she talks quite a lot about the mindfulness, about being grateful for your life and doing a meditation where you think about different types of people or people you have different types of relationships with, and just thinking how much you're grateful for them and how much love you can send them and how you can hope that they're happy and healthy. And just spending a bit of time like that, makes a difference to your longevity and your health. So that's what I learned in the last few days. Attitude of gratitude, absolutely.
Yeah, love it. No, Jayney's amazing. She is just absolutely incredible. I have started to read this. It's called Breasts, the Owner's Manual. Probably not something of interest to you, perhaps. No, I'm not. We're not going to open up that.
I'm not going there. No,
no.
I'm staying very sober and on track.
Okay. All right. But this woman, her name is Dr. Christy Funk, and she is a breast surgeon. And so she wrote the book about this, and Every Woman's Guide to Reducing Cancer Risk, Making Treatment Choices, and Optimizing Outcomes. Because breast cancer is the #1 killer of women ages 20 to 59, and it's everywhere. So, the choices that you make, whole food, plant-based, getting the toxins out of your life. Oh my gosh, without question, to me, that's a no-brainer. So.
Well, I'd like to pick up on that if I can on our little section, the biggest bang for your buck. And I really like to come back to basics for our listeners, for our watchers, and say, what you do every single day is contributing to tomorrow's health for you. and the next day's health. And there is no reason these days for you, as in all of us, to educate ourselves just a little bit more every single day by reading something like this, by reading something like the book you held up, by watching one of these videos that we've done, or one of the interviews with different people, or watching a video on YouTube instead of putting Netflix on. Just choose something that's to do with health. Watch one of the doctors, the plant-based doctors, for 20 minutes, half an hour. Or watch one of the documentaries that have been made, one of the plant-based films.
Game Changers.
Game Changers is an awesome movie, but there are many actually. And going back over them, when it's like reading a book, you can read a book today, and then you have an experience in some way over the next, say, 12 months. You read that book again, or you listen to that recording again, or you watch that video again, and there's something completely different in there that you didn't understand the first time, because in between you've had a life experience in some way, you've increased your education, you've increased your knowledge, helped someone else, or you've been helped. Something's happened which makes you look at that or listen or watch it from a different angle, and you pick something else up. And so I would recommend that my biggest bang for the buck is, especially when people want to make a change or are just making a change, is keep listening to the information every single day. Keep watching, keep learning, keep educating yourself.
Right. No, for sure. And I like to do that when I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking. I'll bring my laptop in, and then I'll listen to, a podcast or a video, because I'm always learning. I'm always learning something new. I'm always researching something, because I want to know, because there is so much to learn. Oh my gosh. And even like the movie Forks Over Knives, I'm not kidding. I have seen that movie at least 25, 30 times.
Wow.
And I'll watch it again with a newbie, and we'll be sitting there watching it, and I'll be like, oh, how come I didn't get that the first 25 times I watched the movie? And I'll get something new out of it, just like you said. Even though I've seen that movie like so many times, I will pick up another tidbit that I didn't get the first 25 times. So,
do you know, one of the things which made a huge difference for my wife, on about it, who'd never heard of the word vegan 5 or 6 years ago when we met, was that a couple of years ago we were watching a documentary which was on TV. I don't remember what it was called, but it was about, I think, mink farms and how these animals were so badly treated. And on about it was there, of course, we live way up in northern Norway, and she said, man, that's terrible what some countries do. And she was thinking it would be in some, well, I don't know what she was thinking, but some other countries, certainly not Norway. Not only was it in Norway, it was on an island 2 hours away from where we live. There was this huge mink farm, and most of this stuff was filmed there. It gave her a wake-up call then that this is happening all around us. We just don't get to see it,
Right. No, and when we do, I have a hard time. It just tears my heart. It really does. Without question. I can't understand why you could love some animals and then kill and eat others. I don't get it. But
no, I agree.
Anyway, well, my biggest bang for your buck is good pans. And I love, there's two that I really like, is the Swiss Diamond. They come from Switzerland. And then the other one is Scampan, which is from Denmark. And so both of those, again, they come from Europe, which has very different regulations than we do here in the United States. So I really like those pans. I can cook with them without oil. And so investing in a good pan or pot is worth your money. But of course you want to do the research, before you make an investment, and do that. Another thing is knives. And for the first time in my life, I found Wusthof. They're German knives. And oh my gosh, I bought a set. I bought like one or two, and I loved them so much that I saw on Amazon they had a sale for the set, which normally goes for like $600-700, and it was on sale for like over $200. And I jumped on that and went, oh my God. And so what a joy it is to work with quality knives. I mean, just without question. And because I use knives every day,
Me too.
And
Couldn't live without the knives. No.
yeah, no. I mean, so you're, all the time chopping, cutting, slicing, dicing, and all of that. But to have a quality knife, and can I just say you have to be careful with them because they are very sharp. And I've already had several wounds.
Yeah.
from
Well,
that.
I use I cook cookware and knives, but the same thing is. But a chef once told me just a few years ago that if you don't look after them and you allow them to get less than really sharp, they're much more dangerous because they can slide off food and into your
Oh,
fingers. When you keep them sharp and you put them in, they'll go straight through. Of course, you don't want to be putting them on your fingers because they'll go straight through your fingers. But chefs think their knives are more dangerous when they're not really, really sharp. Yeah.
well. All I can say is I really love these knives a lot, and and my pans, and it's worth it to make an investment into that. I mean, not right away when you're first starting out because it's so much. But as you start to get into this lifestyle, really investing in pots and pans and some good knives is
Couldn't agree more.
yeah. Well, Gareth, always a pleasure connecting with you. I always learn so much. And so thank you again for connecting.
Great for me, Jeanne, as well. It's great to connect across the pond.
Yes, we are.
And I will get to remember to say soccer instead of football the next time I mention it. Yeah.
All right. Well, Jeanne and Gareth from across the pond. We'll see you next time.
Bye for now.